We're back at it again, and so look for us to do a lot more videos about guns, reloading, and a lot of other subjects that has to do with that. What we're going to be talking about today is all the shotguns that Browning and Winchester developed together that led up to this one. And that's going to be the Winchester lever action, model 1887, the model 1893 pump action, the 1897 pump action, and the 1901 lever action. And that will take us up to this one. And this is the one that broke the camel's back. This is the one that made that separation between Winchester and Browning a reality. So have a good day. Hope you enjoy this video. We're going to be talking about, first of all, the Winchester model 1887 lever action shotgun. We're going to be talking about the 1893 pump action shotgun, the 1897 pump action shotgun, the 1901 lever action shotgun, and just a teeny bit about the Auto 5 Browning and how this could have been a Winchester, but it was lost at the last minute. And so let's start with 1887. There was one other shotgun that Winchester actually was selling, and I think it was called the 1878 or 1879, and I don't have one of those because it was never really made by Winchester. It was a double-barreled shotgun, hammered. It was actually made in London by some English manufacturers, and they did really a great job of making that shotgun, but it wasn't really a Winchester shotgun. It wasn't made by Winchester, made by somebody else. They put their name and so forth on it, and he sold a bundle of those shotguns that he got from London, and they really did quite well. Well, anyway, when he met up with John Browning, and John Browning really beefed up his sales with new lever action, starting with the 1886, and then we went on with that on the last couple videos. He wondered why it is that they like that so good, and if they like the lever action rifle so good, why wouldn't they love a lever action shotgun? And so he went to John Browning and he says, you know what? I think we need to try a lever action shotgun on the public and just see what they think of it. It would be a great thing for law enforcement, and obviously it would be a great thing for bad guys too. It held normally about 4 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber, so it'd have 5 shots rather than 2 like you would have with a double barrel shotgun. And so Browning says, good to go, I'll invent one. And so John Browning went and got started on this shotgun, and this is actually called a rolling block shotgun. And if you see, the action is kind of round, and it's lever action, and it just opens like this. You load it from the top into the tubular magazine that's underneath the barrel, and when you close it up, it locks up and it self-cocks. In other words, when you open it up and close it, the hammer's cocked, and it's got a semi-exposed hammer on the shotgun. And so it has a special lever lock underneath the lever here, so it holds it down and locks it in place when it's shooting. And then you open it up, and as you open it up, you see how this lever rolls back? So it's called a rolling block. And so as soon as you pull it back and cock it, it cocks the hammer. And when you want to load it, you open it up and stick your ammunition in here and slide it forward into the tube. It holds 4 rounds in the magazine. And in those days, there was no 3-round capacity for your pump or automatic shotgun like there is today for waterfowl, you could hold as many as you could put in the barrel. And so I'm sure that they may have even had longer magazines, but the only ones I know of is this. These were just a great shotgun. Actually, they made about 64,000 of them. It has the special insignia on the side of it, Winchester repeating arms, which is really well known for what they put on there, because when they finally put that insignia on, they decided to put that on a lot of Winchester's equipment because they loved it, and so did the public. And during the time that they were making them, they thought they were going to sell a lot better than they did. So it was not necessarily a slow seller, but it didn't meet the expectations that Winchester had in his factory for what was going on. So we can't say that this was a great deal for Winchester like was the 86, 92, 94, and all the rest of the lever action rifles. And so it sold, but it didn't sell as good as expected. It was made both in 10 gauge and 12 gauge. 12 at first, and then after several thousand, they started making it in 10 gauge too. And it was used by a lot of desperados and a lot of marshals and so forth. They liked the extra firepower. And so this is the Winchester Model 1887 lever action shotgun. And actually, they're making this shotgun right now for the cowboy action shooters. And so they're making more now today than they were in the 1880s because there's really a need for them. And so this is the lever action Winchester shotgun. A great shotgun, but not a great seller. A lot of people didn't like the round action. It didn't resemble a lot of the lever action rifles that they had, but it worked fabulously. It was strong, but it was made only for black powder, because black powder was all that there was in 1887. The next one is a Winchester 1893. Now, no, I did not make a mistake. It's not the 1897 that everybody has heard about. They made over 800,000 1897 Winchesters. The reason they made the 93 is Winchester became aware of two other manufacturers out there, Spencer and Burgess, who were both making pump shotguns in the 1890s, actually even before the 1890s. And he began to realize that he had to have a pump shotgun or he was going to lose his market share as far as having a shotgun that was a pump. And so he contacted John Browning and he says, John, I want you to invent a pump shotgun for me so we don't lose our market share, and you've got to do it quickly. And so Browning invented the 1893. Of course, this is a pump. Works just like that. And this is the 1893. And this one came in only 12 gauge. And it was actually a real good shotgun. The problem was that when they invented it, black powder was almost the only thing that they were shooting in any of the weapons during that time. Smokeless powder came into being about 1890, but it took some years for smokeless powder to really take control of the market. So they were shooting both smokeless powder and black powder. This shotgun was never made for the pressures that you develop with smokeless powder. And so in the process of people using it, and it sold actually pretty well because it had a Winchester name on it, so they were buying the name as well as something that was new and extraordinary to the shooting public, is they started to shoot smokeless powder in it. And so things started to bulge and springs started to break and pins started to shear and things started to happen with the shotgun. And so there was a steady line of these guns going back to the factory for repairs and or other gunsmiths. And so it was kind of a black mark on Winchester's integrity. And they could have made that not happen. But when Browning was pushed into inventing this shotgun, he did it as quick as he could and took a pretty rough copy of that into Winchester. Winchester normally would take the patents that he had and tweak them a little bit, add a little spring or a little bit better steel or other things that they needed to do to make sure that it was not only easy to build but marketable, and so that it wouldn't break down all the time on the customers that had it, because it was a long time in those days to send it back to the factory for repairs and to get it back, and so people were not very happy with it. But Winchester decided he didn't have enough time. He got a little greedy. He didn't have enough time to go through all the steps that he had done with other patents that Browning had given him. So he just notified his plant, and he says, build it as it is. And so that really spelled a major problem. And so, and if you notice, the top of this shotgun has got this little cutout here. For a collector, that's really something that you need to know, because that really shows the difference externally from this shotgun to the 97. And I'll explain to you a little bit more when we talk about the 97.